What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a video about Bloomtown, a different story, which I think could be best described as Stranger Things meets a JRPG. But in particular though, this game came to my attention from the audience actually as part of Steam's turn-based RPG fest that's been ongoing this week. I covered that and then requested that people mention things they had seen during that to me, and Bloomtown is one of those games that came up, as prior to that I had heard the name but wasn't super up to date with everything it was trying to do. And while I wouldn't consider this game groundbreaking or anything, I did think that what it has to offer is a very charming little game that was worth talking about, which is naturally what we're doing here. So, what is this game all about? Well, effectively, we take on the role of a group of young kids having moved to a town to spend the summer with their grandpa, as it sounds like their parents are getting a divorce. However, upon arriving at this town, you actually come to find out that the entire place is haunted by demons, and you're pushed into signing a contract with Lucifer in order to take on a guardian demon who's going to help you force all of these demons back where it is they belong. Which I thought was honestly just an interesting premise given the art style of the game and everything. So what starts out as a relatively dreary reason to get involved with this town ultimately turns into this big mystery where people are going missing, disappearances are happening, and you and your group of friends go around investigating all of that, which takes you to places that are described as the underside or like the Shadow Realm version of the town, where you'll be fighting all sorts of monsters in turn-based tactical battles that are very, standard for JRPGs in general, as you get to the bottom of this. But that is not all. There is actually one other mechanic I thought was especially neat to see in a game like this, and that was that your character has a few different stats associated with them. Things like smarts or guts, and you can use these to occasionally bypass objectives and the like, or simply make something easier for you. And while from what I've seen, this doesn't fundamentally alter the gameplay or anything, it just provides a few different methods to solve the occasional problem. I did think that was an interesting thing to see in a JRPG, where it is, say, less common than other games. Now, another thing that makes this game stand out, though, is the town itself. Now, according to their Steam page, what they were aiming for here is 1960s Americana, and as such, there is a big town, Bloomtown, of course, that you can explore that is divided up into several different sections. Each of these sections has a bunch of different houses and buildings, etc. that you can explore and find your way around in, though some of them, like stores and whatnot, are only open at certain times of day as time is passing while you're playing, and often plays a role. And both the act of staying out late, but also simply not listening to things your grandfather does, can net you some really funny reactions. Now you combine all of that stuff with a load of different activities to get up to sort of exemplify the summer vacation vibe at play here, such as gardening, fishing, or just exercising to work up those stats I mentioned, and you've got a game that comes across, again, just very charming. Now, progression and combat-wise, I would say this game is very basic, at least as far as these types of games go. Essentially, as you perform tasks and defeat enemies in combat, you'll start to level up, which increases your stats. You have some equipment that each of your characters can put on, and all of that is going to increase your combat effectiveness. And combat itself is largely just a big back and forth adventure, though a little bit into the game, some bosses and the like do start to accumulate actual strategies and mechanics that you'll have to work around, though I didn't see anything that wasn't a pretty common approach to implement here, like for instance a big main enemy that guards to healing enemies and all sorts of other stuff like that. But overall I would say it's decent for what it is. But where this game really shines is this little town you have to explore, the characters that you can flesh out and become friends with, all while you try to get to the bottom of this mystery and simply enjoy your summer at the same time. Makes for just a very simple, charming little game. Now, I did want to mention here at the end, as I'm sure people were wondering, this game does run very well on the Steam Deck. No surprise there, it is verified, and speaking for myself at least, I used to play a lot of games like this on the various iterations of a Game Boy back in the day, so something like the Steam Deck I think is just a very natural format for this kind of game. So if you wanted to play and explore this on the go, this is definitely the type of game that lends itself very well to that, which I always think is great to see. And putting all of that together, I can honestly see why people were recommending that I take a look at this particular game as part of this little festival that's going on, and during this festival there's a demo available that you can play this game for yourself in. if you'd like to get a better look at it before, say, buying it, which I believe is running about $25 US, give or take, which certainly seems about right for a game of this size and scope. But overall, I would simply say that this one seems like a neat, cozy little game that might be just what somebody wants over the coming holidays, which is why I wanted to call it out in a video like this. Now, this is not the only game that was recommended to me as part of that festival, and you will see probably one or two more over the course of the next week or so, and more on that then. But for now, I think that's pretty much going to do it. I just wanted to give people a quick look at Bloomtown and give it some airtime, so to speak, because I thought it was neat. But that is going to do it for today. So I certainly hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, maybe learned a thing or two. And if so, do remember to let me know how you feel about this one down in the comment section below, which of course means to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.